Children, now we will continue with the play The Merchant of Venice, written by William Shakespeare, the famous playwright. Act 3, Scene 2 onwards. Till Act 3, Scene 1, you have already covered in your previous class. So, you all are familiar with the main plot of the play as well as the main characters, namely Antonio, the merchant of Venice, Shylock, who plays the role of a villain, a very, very interesting role, Bassanio, a carefree person who is Antonio's best friend, Portia, a rich and beautiful heiress from Belmont, and later on she would become the wife of Bassanio, Nerissa, her maid as well as her very good friend. We also have some other faithful friends of Antonio and Bassanio, like Lorenzo, who also becomes Jessica's husband, who is the daughter of Shylock. We have Salario, Salanio, Salarino, and Launcelot, who lends humor to the play. Children, it's a very interesting play, as you must have come to know about it. And as the play progresses, it will become more exciting, more interesting, sometimes serious also. But at the end of the play, you are left with a smile and a sense of poetic justice, or I would say justice. Children, as you all know, that Portia has been sketched as a very, very strong character. In fact, she is the protagonist of the play. Protagonist means the hero of the play. Though she is supposed to be the heroine of the play, but I refer to her as the protagonist or the hero because of what she did. A hero is supposed to carry a story on his shoulders. Here, Portia has done the same for this particular play. Hence, she is the hero of the play. As you all know, children, Portia's father wanted to ensure that Portia gets a faithful, loving and good life partner. So he devised a casket challenge. We have gold, silver and a leaden casket, in which, or rather in one of the caskets, Portia's portrait had been kept. And the suitors who wanted to marry Portia would have to choose from among these caskets the right casket. If successful, he would be eligible to marry Portia. If not, then there were three main conditions accompanying the casket challenge. That a person who fails to choose the right casket would have to leave Belmont immediately. Second, he would never ask any girl for marriage. Third, he would never disclose the secret of his choice of the casket to anyone. So as you can see, children, these were some difficult conditions. And some of the suitors, when they got to know these conditions, they went back without making an attempt to choose the casket, while some others made wrong choices, which was a big relief to Portia, as she did not want to marry any one of them. Now we come to Act 3, Scene 2, where Bassanio, the best friend, or I can say the only close friend of Antonio, he has come to choose the casket. And tables have now turned for Portia. How? Well, thus far, she was happy when no one was able to choose the right casket. But Portia is seen very anxious here because she wants Bassanio to choose the right casket. She doesn't want him to make any mistake. So she is worried also. We will read about her feelings, her thoughts in this scene. But before we actually begin with the explanation of this scene, there are 2 points that you must keep in mind. Not only for this scene, but for all the scenes that you have done and you will be doing. A, you should remember where a particular scene takes place. B, the characters present in a particular scene. Now in Act 3, Scene 2, follow me in the book. You will find it is very clearly written. Scene 2 of Act 3, Belmont. The scene is taking place where? In Belmont. The exact location is a hall in Portia's house. In most of the extracts that you may get in your exam, this question can crop up, that where is this particular scene taking place? So you have the answer here. The scene is taking place in Belmont at Portia's house. Point 2. Who all are present in the scene? That is also given. Bassanio, Portia, Gratiano, Nerissa and some attendants. So these 2 questions are important, very important. You must know the answer. Keep that in mind. Now we begin with the actual explanation of Act 3, Scene 2. Here we see Portia. When she sees Bassanio, Bassanio has come. She makes a request to him. What does she say? I pray you, tarry. Pause a day or 2 before you hazard. Now Portia is requesting Bassanio. Pray means request, making a request. I request you, Bassanio, to tarry. Tarry means to wait. Please keep noting down these meanings. Pause a day or 2. Wait for a day or 2. Don't be rash. Don't be hasty. Hasty means when you are in a hurry. Don't make a decision right away. Wait for a day or 2. Think and then select the right casket. Actually, this is what Portia wanted him to do. Choose the right casket. Before you hazard. Before you hazard means take the risk of choosing the right casket because of the conditions attached with the casket. Once a wrong decision is taken, the suitor has to go back immediately, never to come back again. And Portia did not want this to happen in this case. Here, Shakespeare gives us means the readers, now all of us, the impression that Portia and Bassanio knew each other from before. And Portia wanted Bassanio to choose the right casket because she wanted to get married to him. And she very clearly states this. For in choosing wrong, I lose your company. She makes it very clear that if you make some mistake, it would cost us. And what would be it? It would mean you would have to leave Belmont immediately. You will miss the opportunity of marrying me. I would lose your company. You will not be here. Therefore, forbear a while. Therefore, wait before you take the decision. There's something tells me, but it is not love. I would not lose you. And you know yourself, hate counsels not in such a quality. Now, Portia, as I have told you, is the protagonist, the hero of the play. And her characteristics can be seen now. She is speaking her mind out very, very categorically. She leaves no doubt. She says, there is something, there is a gut feeling in my heart, in my mind. Gut feeling or something refers to intuition. You know, we have, sometimes we call it sixth sense. Before something happens, we have an idea of it. Many a times you must have heard people saying, see, I told you about it, even before it happened. So that is the sixth sense which makes us aware of something happening even before it happens. Similarly, Portia, even before Bassanio has chosen a casket, says that there is a feeling, a gut feeling, an intuition, a sixth sense telling me that I would not lose you, which means, in other words, you will be able to choose the right casket. You will be successful. I have that feeling. And look at the play of words and thoughts. Shakespeare was a master at this. Enjoy this, children. In one sentence, she says that something tells me that I would not lose you, but this is not love. Categorically, she explains, this is not because of the love that I harbor in my heart. But at the same time, she says, hate counsels not in such a quality. Bassanio, you know it yourself that if someone hates another person, he would not give this kind of counsel or advice to him. What advice? To wait and act wisely. If I would have hated you, Bassanio, I would not have advised you to stay back, to wait, and then take your decision after much thinking. So, this is the play of thoughts. One sentence, the character makes it very clear that she is not giving this advice to wait and then act out of love. The second sentence makes it clear that hatred would not lead to such advice. And she says, not in such a quality, which means not in this manner. Hatred does not give this kind of advice. But lest you should not understand me well, she says, I am speaking out to you so clearly so that you may be able to understand what I want to say. Lest means it may not so happen that you do not understand me. That is why I am trying to make it clear. And yet a maiden hath no tongue but thought. She says that in those times also, a maiden, a young girl, was not supposed to express her feelings so openly and clearly. No tongue means she could not speak out her mind. But thought, she could only think. And what was Portia thinking? And in this case, Portia is also voicing her feelings very clearly. That shows her boldness, her confidence. This is one of the characteristics of Portia. Keep noting down these characteristics, because when we ask you to write the character sketch of a character, you must write down these qualities and describe them with the help of the text. So she says, I have some thoughts. Though I am not expected to voice my feelings so clearly, I have some thoughts. And what are those? I want to, or I would detain you here some month or two. I want you to stay back. Detain means to make you stay back here for a month or so. Before you venture for me, before you make that casket selection. Venture means starting something new. Here it refers to the casket selection. And why does she want him to stay back, wait before he makes that choice? So that I could teach you how to choose right. She wants to tell him about the right casket. This gives us a glimpse of Portia's feelings for Bassanio. She wanted him to be successful in choosing the right casket. This shows her outspokenness, her boldness. But then she says, but I am then forsworn. Which means, if I tell you about the right casket, I will be forsworn. Means, the promise that I have made to my father, who is not alive now, would be broken. So she is mindful of the fact that she would be not correct if she breaks the promise made to her father. And the next line shows her determination. So will I never be. She says, and I will not allow that to happen. I at no cost would allow my promise to be broken. I am not going to break my promise. This shows her determination, her firmness in her belief that she is not ready to break the promise made to her late father. Late means who is no more alive. Okay? This shows her loyalty, her faithfulness, her love for her father. second characteristic of Portia. Keep noting these characteristics down. So may you miss me. In this case, when I cannot tell you about the right casket, or I would not tell you, I will not tell you about the right casket, in all probability, there is a possibility that you may miss the opportunity of marrying me. So, we can see that she is quite obedient, and she says that in doing so, you may miss me. You may miss the opportunity of marrying me, because there is a possibility that you may not choose the right casket. But if you do, which means if you do make a mistake, if you miss the chance of choosing the right casket, then you will make me wish a sin. Portia is speaking what she is going through. She says, in that case, I would be forced to think of something which would be a sin. Sin means something which is very wrong in the eyes of God and man alike. And what would that sin be? That I had been forsworn. I would be thinking, or I would think, that it would have been better if I would have told you about the right casket and broken the promise made to my father. Forsworn again, I would tell you, what does it mean? Breaking of promise. I would think. When would I think? If you happen to lose the challenge, it would force me to think that had I told you about the right casket, it would have been better. At least you would have won the challenge and you could have married me. This is the sin that she is talking about. This shows that her moral values are good. She knows what is right and what is wrong. She is mindful of the fact that it would be a sin to break the promise made to her father. She regards it as a sin. Though there is no one to stop her from going ahead and marrying Bassanio, still she keeps the word given to her father and considers it as a sin to break that promise. I hope, children, you have understood this much. Go through these lines, follow what I have said in this audio clipping, and in your books, see what you have understood, how much you have understood, and the next or the leftover lines will be explained in the next